Hey everyone, it's Cecilia. I just went through my whole spiel about canning equipment and realized I didn't push record. Oh, anyway, so now I'm gonna have to do it all over again. I am I am Cecilia, and I am with Everything But the Kitchen Sink, Tarot, and more. And I haven't really been online at all, mostly because between the last several months, I've been trying to run two households. I think April was about the last time I was actually able to get on and do some readings. I've done readings on my own, but not recorded them or anything like that, just for like my own information. Not that I didn't want to record them, but I've been so busy, and then you got to look halfway decent. You can't sit in your jammies. I can sit in my jammies and do a reading, just for my own, what I want to know, but not, I don't want to, I don't want to do that and redo a recording. It's not pretty. So, but anyway, I haven't been, I've been trying to run two households, for the last several months, and I'm still running two households, and everything that comes with it. The shopping, the cleaning, the, just everything or making sure that the cleaning gets done. The bill paying, it's just a lot of work right now. And to make matters worse, on Memorial weekend, on Memorial Day itself, I was just stepping out of the tub, and I did a severe tear on my hamstring. I went to go step out. I didn't slip or anything. I stepped out, and I heard a pop, and I went, whoop, I went right down. And that was in the end of May. I am doing better. It took me a couple weeks with in-home PT to get to where I could sit. I even went camping, but I couldn't camp like I usually do, like walking around the camping. I had to drive from station to station. And, I even had to get a thing to help get on my socks because I couldn't put on my sock. It hurt to sit. What a mess that was. Anyway, I'm doing a lot better. Been doing the physical therapy. I've now moved from home physical therapy to being able to go to outpatient physical therapy, and I'm hoping to be back to work at the end of July. Right now, I am in the process of canning beans. It's hurricane season here, and I just kind of put it off. I got all these beans. I had to switch how I usually buy canned beans because I like them already cooked. I like the convenience, and I just wanted the convenience of it. But right now I'm taking a stab. Now I'm familiar with canning of jams and jellies and butter, apple butters and stuff like that. Got that down. It's the canning of beans that I've not really done. So I'm in the process of learning. I'm a firm believer right now with the economy being what it is. I've had to switch to dry beans, but I don't want to be cooking beans every single time I want beans. That's kind of gotten off the path on that. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Instead, what I'm doing is I'm going to do a whole bunch of beans, put them away, have them on the ready. In this case, I'm doing black beans, but I have pinto beans, navy beans, all these other beans that I've got to get processed, because as a vegetarian, I eat a lot of beans. I love beans. They're a good source of fiber and iron. I really love beans, and they're so versatile. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. Also, I've talked about in readings about forming communities. Now, with forming communities, having a skill, learn a new skill a month, something new, or refine something that you know about, but you want to do a little bit more on it. Like, for example, say you know how to sew. You've got a skill right there that you can trade with. Okay, I can, you can barter. Yeah, sure, I'll hem those pants for 2 jars of your jelly, or for a couple jars of beans. Those type of skills. or you can trade out, because as money gets tighter and people have trouble, having more skills that you can do gives you more to work with that you can trade. Makes sense. So anyway, let's talk about canning. Now, I'm not really talking about canning as I am talking about equipment. It's thundering. We're supposed to get storm today. I was outside in the yard earlier, and I knew a storm was coming because I have bees outside, and I cut the grass kind of close to them. I was dressed all in white, kept keeping the bees away. They don't bother me, but boy, they sure went after that lawnmower, and I just kind of stepped back. And once the lawnmower wasn't making noise and that wasn't moving, they kind of just moved on. But they get a little testy when it's really hot and right before the rain. They're in my garage wall. I haven't been able to get them out. I'd have to tear apart the inside wall to get them, and they've been there for over 10 years. They pollinate everything. I'm golden. They haven't destroyed anything. Life is good. Anyway, let's talk about canning. I had learned something new this past year that I didn't know, and I'm going to share that to you when it comes up. There's two kinds of canning. This right here is water bath canning. Water bath canning is, as it states, it's water. It's water inside to where you have a thing like here, and it can hold, you hold these in like this, and you lower them in. Now, this is a pint size. Okay, but it holds quarts and that too. I think it holds like five or six quarts. I've never made anything with quarts in a water bath canner, and that is because I've used it mainly for jams, jellies. What do you call it? What's that dip? Pico de gallo and salsa. Okay, but those are high acidic foods. This is used only for high acidic foods. Right now I got beans in here, and they're hot. I'm going to be doing some hot packing of black beans. I got a crap ton of beans that I'm going to go in. Now beans can't cook. I mean, I can cook beans. This is the biggest pan I have. My other pans are small. These kind of pans cannot go in. Beans cannot cook in here to be canned for shelf stability. They can go, however, in a pressure canner. Okay, I have no counter space. I think I've showed you guys my counter space before. I've rearranged my kitchen a lot for more space, but just in case you've never seen my counter space, see that right here? This is this side. This little counter space here. And I have on this side over here and this side something that is about this big. But once you start putting stuff on there, there's no room. I'm always complaining about the size of my kitchen. But I think that when they made it, they weren't making it for somebody that actually cooks. So let's talk about there's something new that I learned. I did not know that a pressure cooker is not the same as a pressure canner. I thought you could use them interchangeably. No, you cannot. Yes, they both produce pressure. When I cook in here, usually I cook beans in here, but I also cook cheap cuts of meat for my family. I don't eat meat. I'm a vegetarian. I will buy really cheap cuts of meat, put them in here. They would never know they were cheap cuts of meat. I kid you not. I made a pot roast of some sort. I don't know what part of the cow. That's the thing. It's not like a chicken where it's breast, leg, thigh, or ribs, where it goes from. Rump, I know what a rump is, or fish with a fillet. It comes from all different parts, and I don't know enough about it, nor do I really care. All I know is I can buy. Not that there is such a thing as a cheap cut of meat right now, but I can buy the cheapest, smallest cut of beef meat pre-cook it. I cook it in here. And it'll come out tender, and then I can use it for what I'm using for. Because it still closes, still produces pressure. And it will make a lot of noise if it goes over pressure and steam all over in the kitchen, set off my smoke detectors. But, no. You cannot pressure can in this. You can pressure cook. And I've put whole meals in here like a stew. Put stew meat and potatoes. And the potatoes and that didn't come out mushy or anything else, but the meat came out tender and it pressure canned it. So works for that. Wonderful. Okay. And for making beans. I do make beans a lot in this, but I want to make it so I don't have to do it each and every time. That's why I'm cooking beans this way. All right. Now let me move. I'm going to turn this off here. Let me move this so I can. No. Oh, it's just too bad. Trying to find a spot. This is so annoying to me. I don't have any space. So anyway, let's talk about my pressure canner. Okay. I don't have anywhere. Oh, I know. Hang on. Like, that thing is heavy. And it ain't got nothing in it. Let's put, where am I going to put my potatoes? Let's put the potatoes. Oh, okay. I know what I'll do. Oh, ha, 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 ha. Okay. Necessity is the mother of invention. Okay, let's talk about this. This is a pressure canner. My pressure canner has a gauge in it. Okay. A gauge is different than a weighted one. You cook in this based on pressure, based on elevation. Okay. Your elevation, like I am in, and it also depends on what I'm cooking. Like for example, when I take those beans from there, I always follow a recipe, and always follow recipes. And I'm going to tell you about that in a little bit. Because I am at 92 feet above sea level, I have to use 11 pounds of pressure when I hot pack it. Okay, I always hot pack everything. And that means I have to have the water in here hot. What's in the jars is hot, so I don't have any explosions of things. This has a weight, but this allows for the steam to come out. Once the steady steam comes out, this goes on, and this keeps the steam in. If it gets too steamy, there's a piece here. Hang on. Oh, come on. Piece here that opens up. Lets all the steam out all over the place. My mother was deathly afraid of these, and she never had one. And I wish I would have learned how to use these a long time ago. My mother must have opened it before it was cool enough, because the lid blew right off. Everything that was in it was all over the place, and it kind of ruined the ceiling. So you want to do it. So anyway, in this one, this has two of these in it. Okay. I have one of these. I don't have this in the pressure cooker, but I do have this in the pressure cooker. And that just allows, so it's not touching directly the heating element, I'm guessing. So anyway, you got two of these so you can stack them. So like if I had pint-sized cup, pint size in here, I could stack two sections of pint size up. Now, what I really like about this that I don't have on my cooker is like, God, these are so hard to get on. Yeah. But this one here, it has, I don't know if you can see this. Let's see if I can get you to, okay, right here. Oh, there we go. Has a V on it. Right here has a V. What I do is I line up the V's, and then all I have to do is snap it or turn it like that, line up the handles, and voila. it's sealed, okay, and it's holding on, and it's not going to blow off. Because I never could understand how my mom said, "Oh, I blew the lid off." No, to blow the lid off, she had to have turned it before it was ready to turn, and she was scared of it, and she wouldn't cook with it. We had the pan, but a pressure canner, not canner, but cooker, and had no top on it. And I said, "Well, where's the top?" "Oh no, we're not having those here in this house." So she was definitely afraid. She must have had a mishap, and so that's why you want to make sure that all the pressure is gone. Okay, so okay, so now, la 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 la. Okay, let me put this back. Put my potatoes. I have some potatoes I have to plant. They're getting eyes. All right. Now, when I bought my pressure canner, see, I was under the impression I could use the pressure cooker. And I found out, no, you can't use the pressure cooker. Because I was like, how do I get quarts in there? Well, then I did some research and found out that I cannot can in there. Okay. But I bought this one, but I did not get any, and I got everything with it except the instructions. So you can go on, like one of my favorite places is the University of Georgia. They have a canning. You want to make sure that you're getting information, correct information. And you want to use trusted sites, and you want to use trusted books. The reason why is that there's a lot of AI slop out there. I hate AI slop. I see AI slop in foraging books. I'm like, oh, that ain't right. That'll kill somebody, because I foraged. I used to forage in Ohio, and I am continuously learning to forage in Florida. There's a lot more here that can be eaten than there was in Ohio. There was a lot to eat in Ohio, but even more here. But it's still, I have to learn them. And, it takes time, it takes practice, it takes going out and foraging. What you don't need is a book that's going to tell you the wrong thing. Okay. So the USDA has a book about a complete guide to canning, and Ball puts out Guide to Preserving. And one of the things that you'll notice with real books versus these AI slop books or other cookbooks, they give you cookbooks. First of all, these recipes are tested. This is a science. Canning is a science. And you want to make sure you're following the directions. If it says only put it in a pint jar, put it only in a pint jar. If it says you can use a pint or a quart, then it doesn't matter. It might say you can't can this product safely. Okay, then guess what? Don't do it. I remember as a kid growing up, I saw jelly that had wax on the top as a lid. Like, how is that even safe? But you took your life in your hands when you were going to eat jelly like that. And so what I'm doing here is that the blue book goes over water bath and how to can in a pressure canner. Okay, talks about elevation, gives you all that information, but it also has recipes that are tested, like how to do water bath canning on fig jam, because it's got to have a certain acidity. Water bath is used for high acid foods, stuff like with tomatoes, salsa. But tomatoes have become iffy now. And the reason for that is they've been breeding tomatoes so that they are not as acidic because people were complaining. So but I'm not sure if that is the heirlooms too, whether those are low acidic. I've always liked high acidic tomatoes growing up, but I've noticed that tomatoes they don't just taste any good anymore. And I've not been really happy with tomatoes. I haven't bought tomato every time and the fact that they're so darn expensive right now. I've been buying pre-made sauce and that, which I never did before, and then I supplement it with veggies and all that other stuff because it's cheaper. I'm doing what is cheaper because, who's got money to waste? I know I don't. But anyway, it tells you how, like fig jam, 5 pounds of figs, 6 cups of sugar. You think, oh, that's a lot of sugar. A 3/4 cup of water and a half cup of lemon juice. The lemon juice is to add acidity so you can water bath it. Okay. And these are recipes that are tried and true. They put them in through the test kitchen. They also have pickled foods in here that can use water bath. You can do pickles in here. You can do some sauces. They have some things like a blackberry liqueur sauce, a zesty salsa, apricot chipotle sauce. So they have recipes that they've actually tried out. Don't make your own. Okay, because you have to reach temperature, and the pressure has to get the temperature to a certain point to the middle of the jar, and you have to make sure that all spores are killed, and it has to have a certain pH. So you want to follow the recipes. Anyway, I got this here. Talks about pressure canners and how to use them, what to look for. Following the recipe, all kinds of stuff about the pressure canner. All I did was print this up. And I printed it up because guess what? I didn't have one. So now I have a working guide. Well, I didn't have one for that. Okay. And I took it also because I'm doing beans in general. Okay. I know everybody has seen here, even though and one of the things that I question here with the beans is that it says here, it tells you to cook the beans, which I've already let them soak. And now that I'm cooking them, okay, so you cook them and then you put them in jars with a 1/2 inch of headspace, okay, because it says leaving, 1 inch of space. And then if it's pints, and I do it hot, so that means the liquid and everything's hot. My canner the water's already hot in there, so I don't have putting hot something into cold something and it explodes. Not good. And then you've got, and it says here, how many minutes I go and I have to pressure can, and pressure canning starts the minute the steam, you get a steady steam coming up out of here, a steady steam coming out before you put your rocker thingy on there, okay? And that is, then you start your timer, not before. Okay, so then, I'm going to be cooking beans for 90 minutes because I'm going to put some in quarts, I'm going to put some in pints. And then it tells me how many pounds of pressure. Where I live, it's 11 pounds of pressure on here. Now, I'm also going to be doing corn. I've got a bunch of frozen corn, okay? I didn't get fresh corn, but while I was at BJ's, I got all this frozen corn, okay? And as I said before, I don't know if I said it, but it's hurricane season. I do not want a lot of stuff in my freezers. Usually I have my freezers emptied out, but right now they're full of veggies, frozen veggies. And I was able to get this big bag, I'm talking about a big bag of corn for real cheap, for $7.99, which to me, that's a lot of meals on there. Guess what? They're going to go in pint-sized glasses. Pint size. I can even probably take it small, have some smaller for individual servings or small amounts. And we're going to talk about jars in a minute. And here, I process it for 55 minutes for pints and 85 minutes for quarts, but it's still 11 pounds of pressure. Pressure is based on your elevation. Okay, and then I have all my recipes, my own little separate thing. I have one for breads and stuff like that, things that I've tried. Only things that I try go in there, and then I have another one of things I want to try, and I'm going to do that too. But okay, so let's let's talk about jars. As you can see, I have pint-sized jars, which are these, okay? And I got wide mouth, okay? But they also make small mouth jars, okay? I don't have one. I don't have pint-sized small mouth. I like the wide mouth better. Easier to work with to getting the veggies and stuff in there. And then I have quart jars, also wide mouth, though I do have a quart jar that is a small mouth. I don't have very many of those. Now, this is something dry, but this is what a quart jar looks like. I only, and then before you use them, for the love of God, wash them. Hot, soapy water, rinse them, let them dry. You want them to be clean. Do not use them like this. All things that are good, wash them. Now, these I've already used before, but guess what? I still have to wash them. Even though they're clean, I'm wash them again. Because the idea is I don't want all this bacteria in them, okay? For my things to reuse jars over and over and over again. God knows I got a lot of jars, okay? Ball also makes these little jars. I use these kind of jars for jams and jellies. But if I was going to do just a little bit of corn for like a salad and have small for one portion meals type thing, I would be using like this size. Not so much for this size. This is pretty. It's great. I used to do jams, jellies, and butters like apple butter and pear butter and that for a cottage industry I had several years ago. And I did great with it. But I started homeschooling my grandchild and ran out of time. Now, these are smallmouth, okay? Now, let's talk about jars. This is a ball jar. This is an older jar. This is 12 ounces. I haven't seen 12 ounces, so I'm telling you, I must have had this for a long time. Keep in mind, I have been doing some, making salsas and stuff like that for a long time. Kind of stopped for a while, picked it up again, stopped for a while, pick it up again. But this is a ball mason jar, and this is 12 ounces. Okay. And it's kind of a unique, I think it's the only one I have that's this size, and it uses a smallmouth. Yes, it uses a smallmouth. Okay, it's a smallmouth jar. Okay, you don't use it very often. Okay. Now, lids. Let's talk about lids. God knows I got a lot of these. Whoa, small and large. Yes. These don't stay on your jars. When you're doing your jars, after they've cooled, you wait. Next day, 24 hours, then you take the lids off and then you inspect, make sure that the lids are on tight, okay? You don't store them with this. Now, this jar here, yeah, I got it stored here. This is my allspice, ground allspice, put it here too for easy reading. But this isn't a canned item. This is a seasoning, and I got a whole bunch of them that are in jars. Okay, I put foods in jars, in these kind of jars. I have this thing about having everything that I can get into jars. I prefer these kind of lids if I'm storing them versus these kind of lids. This happens to be rice. I like these kind of lids, easy open and close. This is Florida. Yeah, all kinds of things get into your food here in Florida. And you bring it home from the store. You don't even know. One time I bought, what did I buy? I don't know if it was lentils or beans, and I put them in the cabinet. That was before I had this thing going on. And I put them in the cabinet, and I was seeing all these little bugs flying around, some sort of fly type thing. And here they hatched in the bag, made their way out of the bag. And I'm like, oh no, we ain't doing that. So we did the process of going to jars. So I like these for here or for leftovers too. I'll put leftovers in jar, put them like this in the refrigerator. I'm trying not to use plastic if I don't have to. But those lids, they come in only in plastic, so. But anyway, let's talk about other kinds of jars. This jar says Mason on it, but it is a jar that had, I think, spaghetti sauce in it. You think, oh, it's measurements in it. I can use that as a thing, and it does hold. It does hold, but it doesn't look like it's a perfect grip around there. A small lid in it. But I don't know if I can trust this. I haven't done any research on it, but I know that this is not a jar that is directly used for canning jars. I mean, it says Mason on it, but is it a jar that's used for that you can reuse over and over again for canning? I don't know. I don't trust it. It's great for other things. I actually can use this to put my seasonings in and put a lid on it, put one of these on there, or save the lid from the original thing that was in there. I do that too, because like when I give away soups and stuff like that to people, I make extra soup, I give it to them. These are the kind of jars. I just save the lid, clean it real good, keep them separate, have the jars. Oh, here, I got some soup. I'll either put it in the freezer, save it for somebody for a later time, or, give it to somebody that I know, they're low on food. I help them out, giving them giving them some stuff, because I cook extra. So that is, you can use that too. These kind of jars. Looks similar. Oh, it's all these labels on. You cannot reuse this jar. Not only that, this lid doesn't fit right. Doesn't fit. So it's not good for canning, and then you'd have to. And I can't remember what was in here. I do have the original lid for it, so that way I can use it for leftovers. I can use it for putting seasonings in. I can use it for a lot of different things. Like, I'll give you an example. I bought. This is the same kind of jar. This is a Classico, cup thing. Okay. People give me jars too. That's how I end up with some of these too. I wanted rainbow peppercorns. I put the label on it, so I know. Guess what? I got my leftover rainbow peppercorns in here. Oh no, this is a ragu lid. Okay, well, fits. I store it. That's it. Repurpose it. Don't throw it away. I'm using it for something else. It's keeping my stuff in better shape. Okay. But no, definitely no. This one here is another one. I don't know what was in here originally. It's got numbers. Makes you think, oh, this is for canning. No, it's not. Guess what? This lid doesn't fit on it. This lid doesn't quite fit. Makes it look like it is, but if you look, it's not in this part of it, in this red stuff. It's not settled in there. No, cannot use it like the others. Leftovers. Save the original lid, make sure it's clean. Voila, you're good to go. Okay, let's talk about lids. What did I do with those two lids? I have two lids. Did I throw them away already? Oh yeah, because guess what? I thought I was recording last time. Okay. Here we go. Right on top. Lids are used once. It's best if lids are used once. Okay? Don't use them more than once. You can see that when you look here, I mean, it's a little wearing down here. Might not do as good of a seal. Looks like, oh yeah, I can use that again. Maybe to do this sort of thing, dry stuff, use it for that. Or just throw them away. Try to get those white lids. I'm not a big person to, I try not to buy anything, but I don't trust them for resealing again for canning, for shelf stability. And definitely, this one was never used before, but somewhere along the line, you can see it got damaged. It got damaged, got dent. This is an absolute no-no. Don't use it. It's not going to form a good seal, and it's not going to be good. Okay? So let me see, what else do I have to go through? Other equipment. Okay. Worth its level. So worth this. I use this all the time. I even use this when I'm packing up leftovers. I don't like it for smallmouth as much. I mean, it'll work for smallmouth. It will. But I really like it for the largemouth. So much easier. So much easier to fill. Okay. These right here. Save your fingers. Don't reach in hot water. Those jars are hot. Pull these out. These are used to pull out your jars and to put jars in. Okay, because the water's hot. This right here has two purposes. One, to get the bubbles out. There are some things you got to get the bubbles out. It is important. Okay, it'll tell you, the recipe will tell you, get the bubbles out if it's important. Recipes talk about headspace. Headspace is also important. And the reason why is the recipes are based, remember I said it's science. And if you don't follow a science experiment exactly, you can have problems, like I did in high school. I thought I followed it exactly. I must not have, because I caught the stuff on fire. In the sink. I got it into the sink quickly. Acted fast! But I don't know if it was my error or the chemicals were just too old. We're talking about Cleveland Public Schools here, where everything is. It's like so old. Okay, so these tell you, they got numbers on them. Tells you, about, you got 1/4, one half, 3/4, and an inch. Okay, so when they say 1/4 headspace, it's this way: a half, 3/4, and an inch. Okay, so where that bottom is, you don't go up past that bottom. That thing is sticking down there. Okay, so you want to make sure that when you put it in there, just double check your food is not, it goes to that level and doesn't come up any higher. Excellent tool. And I think I went through everything. I hope you learned something. Might pop on, do a little video on how my canning of black beans go. This is my first time canning them, and I have 2 trusted sources on YouTube that I do watch. So if you're interested in that, one is Rose Red something, and the other one is Sutton Days. They don't make up recipes. They use tried and true places like the extension offices, USDA, college EDUs. Those are part of the extension office. Like here in Florida, University of Gainesville is linked with our extension office. And then, of course, companies like Bell, that type of thing. I mean, not Bell, Ball. So those are the kind of things that you want to kind of look at and pay attention to. Don't pick somebody that says, "Oh, you can do whatever you want." No. Follow them like science, like a science experiment. It's like cooking too. I mean, not cooking, but baking. I get consistent cookies based on following a recipe to the exact. If it says the item's got to be cold, it's got to be cold. If it says it's got to be soft, it's got to be soft. I mean, those are for a reason. It makes those type of things make a difference. They really do. It's all science, and I love science. Great way to learn science, working in a kitchen, doing that stuff. So you have a great day. I hope you learned something, and wish me luck on the beans, because I got bags and bags and bags of beans. I'm not canning them all today, but I'm trying to get the ones that I use most and try to get, so I have some beans that I'm working with. So I have some, so I don't have to. And then when I get down to the last 2 jars, I can start the process all over again. So, because I went to go get beans for something. What was I making? I was making chili. And I went to go get black beans and some white beans. I like to mix them up. All I had was garbanzo. And I didn't have time to start cooking beans in the pressure canner. So guess what? It chili with garbanzo beans in it. And now I don't have garbanzo beans. I have to do garbanzo beans as well. So yes, trying to get is, have them stocked up, ready to go. So that way when I'm in a hurry or I don't feel like cooking, it's easier for me. Anyway, have a great day. Talk to you later.